Joey Janela. Joey Janela. Why does that name sound so hauntingly familiar? Maybe because your secret screen name is Bad Boy Joey Janela 69? Suspicious. Predator-like Joey. Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators, to catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen. And I'm going to need you, Joey, to have a seat. Been going through some transcripts. Don't like what I see. What's this about you liking to roll around in your underwear? With little guys like Marco and some jungle boy? Again, predator-like. I also see here where you carry White Claws in a fanny pack. Really? And that you've been trying to get some people to join you for an illicit spring break party. Listen, bad boy, you better clean up your act before you end up meeting me in a dark kitchen someplace, having to call Mark in Memphis to throw your bail. Some Mark in Memphis. Nobody wants that. So behave yourself. Remember, I'll be watching, and I'll see you soon on the TV. Behave.
Dynamite!
It's Dynamite!
Wednesday night, Dynamite!
So Dynamite!
This is awesome! This is this. Hey, everybody! Have a great time!
It's Dynamite!
I'm not one of these f***ing goof podcasters out there. I am Don Tony, Wednesday night, Dynamite! All right, now I know you can hear me. Yeah, I jinxed myself earlier. I said, this is going to be the night that we're going to be perfect. No problems whatsoever. Seriously, I'm really going to do this right now. Now, before I do it, can you all hear me? Listening live on YouTube right now? Can you hear? Okay, ready? Stupid, Matarats, moron. I'm an idiot. Jesus. Damn it. I can't be so freaking dumb. Oh my goodness. I had to make sure you heard the slap because that deserved the slap. I'm only going video for 15 days now. And I have a checklist of every item that I got to make sure is listed and running and making sure that everything is double and triple checked before I start. And I forgot that because I don't use the audio coming out of the webcam, I have to make sure that I add a second audio source so you could hear me out of the microphone. So I'm looking at this and I'm clicking the button, and I deleted the video on YouTube so nobody could see it anymore, but I'm clicking the button. I'm like, how come nobody can hear me? This can't be. And then it hit me. I'm like, son of a bee. I forgot to add an audio source. My face red. I feel hot. But anyway, I promise everybody out there, that will never happen again. But we're here. It is episode 19, Wednesday night Dynamite. Yeah, arrest myself for assault. I don't normally try to purposely hurt myself, but that was really, really stupid on my part. Stupid. But I am here, and I know the haters out there were probably all excited or like, oh, he's going to implode. He's going to fail. Failure is not in my vocabulary, but we will have fun tonight. I have a lot of stuff to get into. Saw AEW, saw NXT. I will tell everybody right off the bat, I know some of you out there said, AEW was kind of an average show tonight. I enjoyed it tremendously because there's a few things that AEW did tonight that I really liked, and there was a few things I didn't like, mostly the referees, which we'll talk about later. But one thing that I really appreciated tonight is, number one, they're starting to put promos on TV instead of just airing it on social media. The one with MJF and Wardlow earlier, that was on social media, and I'm like, this is great. This better be on AEW Dynamite. They showed it. Then, come on, last week we were talking about how great PAC's promo was, and they aired it on social media. They don't air it on TV. Tonight, we got Pac with his promo, and it's, we need that. We need that. There's no reason why they can't cut down a minute in the match. I guarantee you everybody who is a diehard AEW fan would not mind if the Young Bucks win in 9 minutes instead of 10. That 60 seconds is a huge difference, especially when you're trying to, look, I understand Cody and everybody way back when said, oh, we're going to do this different, we're going to do this different, wins and losses and blah, 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 blah. If the foundation, if the plans, when you build a house, I mean, there's certain things that everybody does to code. But you can make your house in the end look a little bit different, but you want the framework to be what's successful. And you saw tonight, they opened up with Moxley and Jericho, and I have been saying, and all of you know this as well, the chunk of their ratings is about Jericho and Moxley and the Young Bucks, and it is pretty much everywhere else, even though I think Hangman Page is really starting to gain momentum, but tonight, it felt almost like a WWE show. You open up with a confrontation, a promo, Moxley on the mic, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? No problems, no complaints. I guarantee you AEW fans in a whole were not tonight going,
what are you opening up with a promo for? That's what Vince does. Why are you doing this?
I like it. Everybody liked it. And I think AEW dominates in the ratings again this week. Last week, I had said on this show, I gave quick ratings prediction at the end of the show. I said AEW would score 904,000 viewers and NXT would score 737. Not too far off. I said AEW would get 904. They got 871. NXT, I said would get 737. They got 769. So I think I was in the ballpark. I think tonight AEW goes up in the ratings. I think they end up with around, I'd say 888. And NXT, I think, drops down to around 745. Look, again, I said this last week. I'll continue saying it, because I'm a wrestling fan. And by the way, I know why some of you out there are trying to bait me into a little bit of a war, but one of my friends in the podcasting world made a remark before that a few of you brought to my attention, especially because after I put the preview earlier of tonight's show, wearing this AEW Japan shirt, a friend that is a podcaster as well said that he's not into podcasters that wear wrestling company shirts unless they work for them. I got news for you. I wear any shirt I want because this is a company that I support. If I want to wear a Jason Solomonster, I don't work for him, but I want to do it for... Oh, and by the way, a few of you, I promised this week I would wear Jason's shirt. And what I decided to do... I think every week, and I think all of you will enjoy this. From now on, every week I do this. What I'm going to do every week is I'm going to put a different shirt in the background. Something that I like or something that I appreciate and something to give a little bit back. So, I'm going to give a little tribute to Jason Solomonster because he plugged me a couple of times on his show. And I know some of you listening actually found out that I was going video because of him. So I appreciate it. Jason, thank you very much. And we'll put different shirts in the back week in and week out. But I wear things that I like. I mean, I'm going to be wearing shirts for wrestling feds, for personalities. So, come on, man. I'm not trying to be an AEW employee. They don't want yours truly associated with them at all. It's to pay a little tribute. I'm going to be wearing next week probably NWA. I might wear my Thunder Rosa shirt, which I actually ordered. I think that's the first women's wrestling shirt that I've ever bought in my lifetime as a man. I thought back, I'm like, no, I didn't buy a China shirt. I definitely didn't buy a Sunny shirt. I didn't buy Tori Wilson, Sunny, Sable. Yeah, nothing. I think Thunder Rosa is the first female wrestler shirt that I have ever bought, and I got it on the way. I have a few surprises on the way. A few of you actually suggested I wear like Kabuki Warriors or Kairi Sane. As long as it's not like pink in color, I'll wear it. You know, I'm going to wear things that I like. I'm not trying to be part of them. And, yeah, I think this is a pretty cool shirt. It stands for All Elite Wrestling in Japan. So I may not speak Japan, but I could read it. So anyway, we got a lot of stuff to get into today. And got a couple of video clips. And trust me when I tell you, I wiped the whole boatload of sweat off my face right before we did this little retake. And I got a couple of video clips. And, you know, one that's obviously getting a lot of attention is NWA Power because it went down this week. You know, yesterday was their latest episode, and now they're building up with Marty Scurll versus Nick Aldis. Now, I'll be honest with you, you know, good for Marty Scurll. He's going to do the Ring of Honor event in Baltimore for free. You know, good. But, you know, this is everything free when it comes to Marty Scurll? Now a stipulation with, you know, with Aldis is that he's going to give his pay in order to wrestle Aldis. And this is a stipulation that you could have gotten away with in the 70s and 80s, especially with Jerry Lawler, because this was a stipulation that was done many times in the past. But I want to share with you a little clip that was played yesterday on NWA Power that's going to be setting up a match between Scurll and Aldis. We'll talk about AEW and, you know, NXT. We got a lot of things to get into today, trust me. But I want you to hear this little stipulation that they announced for their match.
Our last encounter. Let's do it at the Crockett Cup. And anyone who's out there, any cities, any arenas, start bidding. Because we're going to make this happen. It's very real. You and me, World's Championship. I dictate the terms. And one more thing. Seeing as you're Big Money Marty, Mr. Box Office, but of course, you're a big box office when you wrestle me. Let's give you something to lose, really. Because everyone knows that you've got the money. But what happens if you have to pay for your defeat? You have to pay for your greed and your ego. What I'm talking about is if you don't win, and if I put you down one more time, you personally cut a check and you refund every single person in that building's ticket. You give them back their money. Money back guarantee, Mr. Big Money Marty. That's the terms.
Stupid.
How bad do you really want it? Because you talk about how it's not about the money, but we both know it kind of is. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But it does feel pretty damn good to be the world's champion. But you know, what good is this if I can't use it to get paid myself? We're in the wrestling business. Yeah? Ain't show friends, is it? So that's the terms. Money back guarantee. You think about it. And if you feel like getting your hands on this is really worth the personal risk of paying back all those people in that arena, then you know where to find me.
Now, don't get me wrong. I thought the promo, the confrontation was awesome. Throughout, the show, they were showing Marty Scurll just sitting in a chair by himself, and he's like, where is he? He's making me wait 20 minutes. I got things to do, blah, 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 and I'm sweating without the lights, and blah, 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 blah. It was good, but come on, man. This is 2020. You got social media. Everybody's online. Everybody's smart. The cat's out of the bag. This is entertainment. You mean to tell me, unless they do it in Baltimore, where we already know the show's for free, I just don't like stipulations like, hey, if I win and you lose, you got to give everybody in the crowd their money back. If you lose, you have to stab yourself in the chest. If you lose, come on, that's just a little bit over the top. I love the segment. I love the build-up. You notice, as I predicted so far, that 2020 is going to be the year of commingling, and you'll hear me repeat that over and over and over and over and over again, because all of these feds, with the exception of probably AEW more than anybody, they all need each other to, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Marty Scurll shows up in New Japan show. He's going to be in Ring of Honor. He's going to wrestle Aldis. Scott Steiner fights Aaron Stevens last week. Now Scott Steiner's going to go to the TNA reunion, and then he's going to show up here, and he's going to show up there. And oh my God, Jay White is over here, and Jay White's over there. And look, that's what they're going to do. Because I asked this question 2 weeks ago, and I think we kind of are on the same page, everybody. Is there really a wrestling boom? Or is it that because technology has really advanced, especially in the pay-per-view world, and it's become very inexpensive to stream video, that what cost Ring of Honor 10 years ago to do an pay-per-view might be a quarter of it today? And all of these companies, they're all trying to see how they could get your money first. And I've used this analogy, and I'm sorry for anybody that has heard it when I did podcast audio only, but I got to use it again. Becky Lynch, great example of it. Up until about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, WWE would have an autograph signing, 4,000 or 5,000 people would show up. Becky Lynch might get 500 fans to meet her and greet her. I'm not saying it in any negative way. Then when she got that momentum, and then what happened with Nia Jax, and then she became the man, she became the #1 woman in wrestling, and now she does an autograph signing with WWE. She may get 2,000 fans that'll show up. Problem is, when you add up all the fans that are going to the autograph signing, there's still only 5,000 fans. So just because she is selling out all her tickets, someone else is losing out on it. And that's what it feels like right now with wrestling. Because again, I lost 65 pounds. I got 6,500 of you believing in me with video in less than 15 days. All right. I put the numbers out there. When you do something positive and the numbers are impressive, you want to brag about it. You want to talk about it. You want to tell the world about it. Look at all of these feds when they say, oh, we broke our previous record. Oh, we just doubled our sales. But they never give you the numbers. So without them giving you specific numbers, again, it feels like, okay, this is the pot. And you know what? I think that I can get you to invest in me before anyone else. And that's what it feels like right now. And again, Scurll versus Aldis is going to be an awesome match. WrestleMania weekend, there's so many things going down. And, I'll bring up a few. But I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys and gals are aware of this, but I posed this question 2 weeks ago. What is AEW going to do WrestleMania weekend? And it's interesting that it took up until only a few days ago to get the answer. You would think with all of these interviews that are being done with people in and around AEW and Q&As and chats that somebody would come out and say this. But somebody brought to my attention over the weekend, somebody asked Cody, what are you doing WrestleMania weekend? Are you going to have a show? And Cody writes, and, you know, I don't have like my altar boy outfit and, you know, put the halo over his head. And he writes, and you could see it. No, my friend, that's theirs. What do you mean theirs? Every federation alive is doing an event WrestleMania weekend. That's theirs. Piggybacking would just be lame. I guarantee you, Shad Khan, Tony Khan, I don't think that they ever made a business decision or investment and said, you know what? Yeah, we can make a boatload of money, but no, you know, that's their baby. Look at this. I mean, maybe the only reason why Cody answered this tweet, because maybe he thought he was talking to the Jess McMahon. The Jess McMahon. No, my friend, that's theirs. Piggybacking would just be lame. Do you think in your right mind that WWE in the future is going to turn around and say, you know what? You know, we wanted to run in this area, but this is AEW's territory. You know, Jacksonville is their territory. It's theirs. Let them have it. You kidding me? That is just, I'm a supporter of AEW. Obviously, I'm wearing the shirt. I paid for it. And I plug it. And I give you constructive criticism. And I also praise a lot of it. I don't, you know, play footsie with, you know, AEW and other promotions like a lot of other people do. You see all the other shows out there. Notice me. Either they gush or they're totally anti. And me, I try to do it down the middle. I really feel that way. And for Cody to turn around and think, what does he think? That AEW fans all in around Florida saying, you know what? He's such a good guy, and because it's theirs, like, I just, you know what, just because those fans, come on, you got tons of people coming from different countries into Florida that are going WrestleMania weekend. You mean to tell me fans in the UK, fans in Australia, fans in Italy, fans in Scotland, you mean to tell me that since they're coming in WrestleMania weekend, oh my God, while I'm here, AEW's doing a show 40 miles away the day before, 2 days before, let me go to AEW and enjoy it. What is it? I just think, in my opinion, two reasons why they're not doing anything WrestleMania weekend. I think the number one reason is because even if AEW had 5,000 fans show up at a building in Florida, you would have people online saying, oh, AEW did 5,000 fans. Well, look what WWE did. Did you see the cute crap tonight with Shotzi Blackheart? Shotzi Blackheart comes out in a little tank on NXT. And I knew immediately all these podcasters that say that they follow NXT and other stuff, that they were going to pull this. I mean, you catch people. They claim they watch this, they do that. And then when you start asking questions, you know, you could catch a podcaster on a live. We did, oh, by the way, how cool was that promo from Chris Hansen? I have no idea who paid Chris Hansen to cut that promo on Joey Janela, but I thought that was hilarious. I hope Joey Janela saw it, and I got to find out if anybody out there knows who actually paid for that. That was funny. And I saw the segment today with Joey Janela. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But, you know, Chris Hansen had to catch a predator. You know, to me, we play to catch a podcaster. I don't like playing that myself. I'd rather you all play it because sometimes, you know, it gets a little bit too close to home, and I don't want to catch a friend that's a podcaster. But how you catch a podcaster in a lie, that someone who claims they watch this and this and this and this and this, you ask them a particular question, and when they answer you back with a question, you know they didn't see it. And I got a kick out of the pod. I understand some fans that did not know this because, for the most part, a lot of you know Shotzi Blackheart as the woman who was selling pictures of her poo-poo on the internet for $5. She did that in early 2019. And so you may not know all that much about her. Totally understandable. But when she came out in a little tank earlier today, and I actually got a little photo, not of today, but I got a photo coming. right away, people were like, oh, how cute. Sammy Guevara shows up at the Royal Rumble with a tank. And look at Shotzi Blackheart and WWE doing the same thing. Oh, how cute. Oh, Shotzi's got to show Sammy Guevara and AEW that her tank is bigger than his. And maybe her poop is bigger than Sammy Guevara's as well because he's a Spanish god. And he only eats kale. Well, that photo that you see right now of Shotzi Blackheart, that was taken months ago. Shotzi Blackheart got a tank before AEW even went on the air. And I don't mean tonight on the air. I mean in October. Shotzi Blackheart's been wanting to do that for the longest time. And by the way, for those who thought that, little tank was cool today, you could buy it in Walmart right now for about $500 with tax. 24 volt, I think it's like golf cart batteries, but she's been wanting to do that for a while. There's pictures on her Twitter. And so for the people tonight that thought, oh, WWE's copying Guevara. And let me also do the flip side of it. I don't think Guevara or AEW in any way was trying to copy Shotzi Blackheart. I thought Guevara was trying to spoof DX showing up at Nitro many years ago, the DX invasion. And that's what I... And you got friends or other podcasters that think that NXT was copying Guevara and AEW, you can have a little fun with those people now because, Anyway, I couldn't fit in that tank. Are you kidding me? I mean, I lost a decent amount of weight, but I don't even think I could fit my butt cheek in that tank. But anyway, how we even got on that, I don't know. But, before we move on, let me just finish up with NWA Power because last week they had their Hard Times pay-per-view. I didn't do a recap because I forgot that it was on Friday night. I thought it actually was going to be airing Saturday Night Live last week, and I did a live Q&A on YouTube. We ended up going 3 hours. It was awesome, and it was so good that I'm actually going to do another one this Friday. So if you're going to be like me and home Friday night, not doing anything around 10:15 p.m. Eastern, then join me live because I'll be finishing up the Q&A. I'll be talking about a few things. A lot of you want me to talk about the Bellas being pregnant. I really don't want to talk about it tonight because this show's not about Raw or SmackDown. But, since they're not on Raw or SmackDown, I guess I could bring it up. And I don't know. I don't see anybody really requesting me to give you my immediate thoughts because you all know how much I am such a fan of Nikki Bella. By the way, you know what? Since speaking of the Bellas, I was calling Britt Baker Britt Bella for a while. She reminded me of Nikki Bella, just in her look and her, talent or lack of thereof. But she's still young and she still can improve. And then we turned it into Shit Bella. And, oh, man, I promised few people today that I wasn't going to curse at all. But you know what? I didn't really curse because that's spelled with 2 T's, So it was Shit Bella. So that's what we were calling her. She cut that promo tonight, and she did it on Shivani. She did it on Jim Ross, and she's talking about Jim Ross with the barbecue sauce. Even though it was you got to give her credit. It was better than last week. I thought Britt Baker today got a decent amount of heat from the fans. I don't know if it was necessarily go-away heat, but I'll be honest with you. If it was a decision of having Britt Baker cutting a promo or Brandy Rhodes cutting a promo, I'll take Britt Baker. I thought she was better today. I really cannot criticize her at all. People are telling me to talk about the Bellas. I'll say this. God bless all of you that try to get overly emotional about this. Some people were calling out WWE for posting it or TMZ for posting it before the Bellas could announce it and this and that. First of all, how do you think all these people found out that they were pregnant? And that's why usually when I know a lot of people out there like to tweet, tweet things, say it nicely, for attention. Like they'll just tweet about any topic just to get a response back because they're just lonely, they're home, and I need to have a conversation with people. So I'll just talk about chicken. Let's talk about chicken. Hey, I feel like having chicken tonight. I remember one time when I had chicken and, it was a little bit tough. And anybody ever have like tough chicken? And you ask yourself, why is it tough? Anyway, but usually when I'm going to say something, I wait. I wait to get the information. And sure enough, People Magazine post this pictorial, both of them with their stomachs out and they're pregnant. And personally, I congratulate Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Dancing with whatever his name is, and I congratulate Daniel Bryan. I mean that 100% sincere. I really do. But when I saw that People Magazine article, and they didn't bring it up on their podcast, and you see how Daniel Bryan keeps his stuff personal, private. He doesn't run to magazines and announce all this stuff. My reaction to both of them being pregnant is this. People Magazine had photos ready to go with a complete article, interview, and everything else. And just think about that for a minute. Not even the most precious thing of about to have a child that you had to run to People Magazine and do an interview and get articles and get this, instead of just going on your podcast, going on social media, announcing to the world or something, or, showing like a birth control result or something. And the reason why I don't want to get too much into this right now is because I want to go a little further and see. Maybe they did announce it beforehand. But from what I've seen so far, People Magazine was ready, cocked and loaded. And that's not a curse word. That is a different definition. And they had this ready. And I'm like, wow, man, even your pregnancy, you got to run to a magazine to have like a feature story. It's not jealousy or anything like that, but it's just, that just shows you how, like, it's almost like heroin, that they need to be in the spotlight, that they need to be in the media, that they need to be in the entertainment world, and it's just, it's disappointing because something like that you would think, you announce it privately and then you do the interview. They had photos already done. They had things already typed up. So when all these people out there are like, how dare TMZ to write this? How dare WWE to do this? How dare? Just think in a mindset. Think in a mindset. Bree, it's pink or it's blue, whatever color it is. Bree. Call people. Call my agent. Call my broker. Call this. Congratulate both of them. I swear to God, on a personal note, that's awesome, man. The gift of life is beautiful. On a professional note, just even if you're the biggest Bella fan, and I don't want anybody to comment publicly about this, and I'm probably what I'm saying would annoy some people, but just think in a mindset that your immediate reaction to announce it to the world is through a magazine. I can't wait till they're 55 and 60 years old. Seriously, I want to see when there's no more cameras around. You know what's going to happen? It's the same thing that happens with wrestlers that you wanted to meet in the 80s, in the 90s, in 2000s. You saw them in an airport. And yes, I totally respect when people want their private time with their family or to themselves. They're not obligated to take pictures every single time or sign autographs. But you knew wrestlers in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s that no matter where they were, hey, can I get an autograph? Can I take a picture? No, go away. Or they just flat out no-sell you and they ignore you. Then when they become 60, then when they become 70, then when they have very little money, then when the spotlight is no longer on them, then all of a sudden, they'll come to your house for $10. They'll personally call you up on Skype. They'll do this, they'll do that, they'll do this. So, when they couldn't care less about everybody for 10, 20, 30 years, that's what's going to happen to Nikki Bella especially. I think Brie Bella is more, she doesn't need the spotlight as much, but there's no denying it that the Bellas together is a lot more money than just Nikki Bella on her own. So I want to see when she's 50 and 55 years old and the cameras no longer are paying attention to her. Unless she becomes this clusterfuck crackhead that everybody, you know, is just like looking at just a total disaster. That's when all of a sudden she's going to be totally accessible. She's going to be mingling, socialize, this and that. See, that's why I didn't want to talk about it. That's your fault. That's your fault. That's your fault. Anyway, you know, I appreciate everybody's feedback the last 2 weeks. You know, the one thing that I keep reading from all of you out there more than anything is this, the smile. And the smile is not fake. And I appreciate everybody out there, everybody's support. Roel Pena, what's up, my friend? And look, again, I have nothing personal against the Bellas. It's not jealousy. I don't need that kind of spotlight. But it's just, I just take a step back for a minute. And it's like, man, People Magazine, that's where you want to announce it to the world. It just shows you the priorities there. Anyway, next week on AEW, Cody will be taking the 10 lashes from MJF. I would think that Cody should be handcuffed to the ring. I don't know if they will do that. Personally, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, I think they should have waited till Cody and Wardlow had that cage match. And then after Cody wins or whatever happens, that's when they attack him, and then they give him the 10 lashes. But AEW wanted to advertise it because Cody is so over with the AEW fans that there's some people that will go next week if they live in that area to see AEW simply because of that segment with Cody in it. So I understand why AEW did the way they did, but I would have done it a little bit different. What I also would have done different is this, and I know we're jumping back and forth a little bit, but I really want to tackle this right now before I get into any TV results tonight and a few other tidbits. But there's a lot of rumors going around of Charlotte choosing Rhea Ripley to be her opponent for WrestleMania. Now, YouTube chat, tuning in live right now. Did Charlotte show up tonight on NXT? As people are reporting, Charlotte is in Orlando. She's going to challenge Rhea Ripley tonight for, you know, to be the choice for WrestleMania. Unless maybe I was just taking a dump that I don't remember right now. Did Charlotte challenge Rhea Ripley tonight on television? I'm just trying to remember. I'm drawing a little blank. Did they do that? No, they didn't. Did you see me tweet about it? Did you see me say anything about it? I talked last week on Friday. I mentioned it before, that I have this feeling that WWE wants to right the wrong of what went down in the end of last year's WrestleMania main event. Whether it's Ronda or Becky, or Ronda, Becky, Charlotte, or a combination thereof, I feel like WWE wants to right the wrong. That's my feeling. I don't know if that's going to be the case. So the last 24 hours or so, all these reports are going around that Charlotte is going to face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And I saw a lot of websites reporting today that Charlotte was in Orlando and she was going to challenge Rhea Ripley tonight. Me personally, if that happens, I will definitely welcome Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. But here is how Don Tony would have this happen. We have been programmed for years and years and years that the winner of the Royal Rumble chooses either the Smackdown champion or the Raw champion. Drew McIntyre, he challenged Brock Lesnar. I don't recall WWE saying Adam Cole on Monday. Does anybody remember them bringing up Adam Cole as a possibility as well? Now, yeah, I might be nitpicking a little bit, but my brain is always trying to think ahead. And I feel consistency is probably the number one ingredient that's needed for a successful wrestling company. All right. So now, did they really harp on the idea of him facing Adam Cole? Did you see Adam Cole in the building? Did you see this the Smackdown? Don't give me Meltzer reported this first, Richard. I'm giving you a scenario. I'm giving you an opinion, an idea. I'm not talking about news right now, but, nice try. I appreciate it. Richard, just give me 2 minutes and you'll see where I'm going with this. You're actually helping me with my point, and I say that with sincerity. WWE has instilled in our brain, for years and years and years, that the winner of the Royal Rumble faces either the Universal Champion or the WWE Champion. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So now, Drew McIntyre, every single person listening, when they announced that Drew McIntyre was going to make his decision, now we all figured it would be Brock Lesnar because of what happened at the Royal Rumble. But we all thought that either he's going to choose Lesnar or The Fiend. Plain and simple. I don't think anybody out there even thought about Adam Cole's name on Monday. So what I would do is I would postpone. I would tease Charlotte's decision for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and give the impression that she doesn't know if she's going to challenge Bayley or if she's going to challenge Becky. Just leave it at that. Then when they announce 2 weeks from now, this is just my idea, all right? This is just my idea, and I know this was not reported because this is an idea. This is not news. What I would do is wait about 2 weeks, maybe 3, and they announce Charlotte has made her decision of who she's going to face at WrestleMania. She comes out on Raw. She gets in the ring. She cuts a promo, hyping it up, getting everybody anticipating who she's going to choose. And right before she chooses it, Rhea Ripley's music hits. Rhea Ripley comes out, starts talking about how she's the NXT Women's Champion, or NXT Champion if people want to play semantics, and that she is the most dominant woman, this and that. This leads to confrontation, pull apart, people breaking it up. Fans will chant, "This is awesome." You have Charlotte trying to rip the hair out of Rhea Ripley, which she's going to have a hard time doing so, and Rhea Ripley pulling on Charlotte, this and that, and then Charlotte challenges Rhea Ripley because of that confrontation. That's what I would do, because nobody would expect Rhea Ripley to be the one, and that's how you hype it up. That Rhea Ripley feels disrespected because all Charlotte talked about for 2 weeks was Becky or Bayley, Becky or Bayley, Bayley or Becky. Well, what about Rhea? That's what I would have done. They could still do that, but if they do that, then we got to see what happens with Becky. I know some people out there think Becky versus Shayna Baszler. That would be interesting. Absolutely interesting. Let's see where it goes. We still don't know exactly who is going to be facing who. But on the surface, I actually like that idea because I think we're all, tuned in to the idea of, Becky, Charlotte, Charlotte, Becky, Becky, Charlotte, Charlotte, Becky, Becky, Charlotte, Charlotte, Becky, Becky, Charlotte, Charlotte, Ronda, 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 Ronda. Yeah. By the way, did anybody catch the Ronda Rousey joke that James Storm made on NWA Power? Anybody catch that? Oh, I wrote it down too. I don't have it in front of me. I apologize, but it was funny. NWA Power this week was hilarious, man. Actually, yeah, I have it in front of me. James Storm says, what does Ronda Rousey, Ohio Street, and the Green Bay Packers all have in common? They all lost by the final kick. The way he said it was funny, and the confrontation with Eli Drake, James Storm, the question mark, and Aaron Stevens tonight was hilarious. Trevor Murdoch and Aaron Stevens as well. They had a great confrontation as well. And next week you have Trevor Murdoch versus Aaron Stevens for the NWA National Champion, or as Aaron Stevens would say, the third degree National Champion. Very entertaining episode of Power this week. I mean, none of them have really been bad, but this piggybacks off of Hard Times. And if you have not had a chance to see the Hard Times pay-per-view yet, definitely go out of your way to see it. I wrote this last week. I talked about it last week. The match with Allison Kay, even though, I have my opinions on, just her obsession with Tessa Blanchard, but her and Thunder Rosa tore the building down. They just really, really killed it in the ring. And something that I said on Breakfast Soup, I don't want to really elaborate more on that because Thunder Rosa is still a very, very new, I guess you could call it. She's not this like longtime grizzled veteran that everybody has heard for years and years and years. But, you know, obviously Tessa Blanchard made history winning the Impact Heavyweight Championship. We all know about the controversy of what, you know, was alleged that she said. We already tackled that. And, you know, obviously that steam seems to have died down, not just the accusations, but it just feels all the momentum or the aura that Impact Wrestling expected to be around Tessa Blanchard seems to have fizzled away. I mean, it seems like Impact Wrestling right now is more talking about the Aces and 0.8s reuniting in Florida. D'Lo Brown, Mr. Anderson, Petey Williams, Scott Steiner, Chris Sabin. I'll never forget that promo when he won the TNA Heavyweight Championship. I still got the video. Maybe I'll play it one day. He did that press conference, and he was the newly crowned TNA Heavyweight Champion. And he was talking about how, you know, he busted his ass and he got injured, this and that. And like after he finished his sentence, like he expected this overwhelming round of applause from media, and it was silent. And after he said what he said, he was like, yeah, okay. And oh man, I felt so bad for the guy, but it was so funny at the same time. But you look at Impact Wrestling, and it feels like that's momentum for them right now. And here's what's sad about their event in Florida. Now, look, it gets closer. You know, Impact Wrestling right now, for those that don't know, they're going to be in Florida WrestleMania weekend. They're going to have an event Friday, April 3rd, 2020, 7 p.m. at the Ritz, Ybor City, the Ritz in Ybor City, Florida. 1503 7th Avenue in Tampa, Florida. I don't know how far it is away from where WrestleMania is going down, but as we speak, go look it up for yourself if you think I'm lying. You could still buy front row tickets to see Impact Wrestling. Not even the scalpers have snatched them up. You could go right now and buy front row tickets for Impact Wrestling. Now, are they going to sell? Of course they are. Impact Wrestling right now, to me, is like going to, when I used to go to clubs in the late 80s, early 90s at 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, you first walk into the club, and this might be entering Tampa, Florida. You know, it's WrestleMania weekend. You're entering Tampa, Florida. It's like walking into a club at 9 o'clock at night. You got all the hot babes. You got the hot guys for the women or the men that are into that. And just everybody's dancing. It's early, and you're having your first drink, and everybody's hair is still combed, and everybody smells good, and you're just getting into it a little bit. And I think I look like the little woodchuck or that thing from Caddyshack, you know, I'm all right. But what happens? You get like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, your hair is all disheveled, you're sweating like a pig, you smell like crap, and you're like, man, I'm going to go home alone tonight. Where is everybody? And you realize like all the hot babes and the hot guys all left, and they're hooking up at the Q Motor Inn, and they're all having a blast. People are going out to diners. They're getting to know people that they met during that night. I don't need the headphones. No, the headphones. But it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're still in the nightclub. And you look around, and the only thing that's there is about 195, 4'11", that forgot to shave underneath her nostrils. And she's sitting at the bar, and she like lifts up her arm, and you see fat like fall to the desk. And then you realize, okay, either I have to go watch Impact Wrestling, or I go back to my hotel room and watch nothing. That's what Impact Wrestling is right now. I don't need no stinking headphones. Yeah, I don't need no stinking headphones. I feel so bad for all of you out there early. I am so sorry for that technical difficulty. I promise you, I will do double, triple, quadruple takes from now on and make sure that every day, if I showed you how ridiculously stupid I was earlier for one little setting, I apologize. That will not happen again. If that happens again, you know, it's going to be because of a power outage or something just totally went wrong. But yeah, that's what Impact Wrestling is right now. In Florida, WrestleMania weekend, that's like the 200-pound, hairy, sweaty, you know, extremely obese chick which is nothing wrong with that if you're into that. And I'm still chunky. I'm not trying to all of a sudden make fun of overweight, but I'm still overweight. But that's what Impact Wrestling is. You could still buy front row. But, as it gets closer, I'll go home with the fatty. That happened to me a couple of times, by the way. I admit it. I was in the club 2, 3 o'clock in the morning looking around, and, my choice was probably almost nothing. It is what it is. I could look back and laugh at it. I have realized through this, getting to this point doing video, none of us are perfect. We all have to be able to laugh at ourselves, not take crap so seriously, and not be hypocrites too. It's funny, I see people that, talk the way they do, and yet they're doing the very same thing that they criticize. I will always practice what I preach. And, I got to be able to have some fun and laugh and smile. And hopefully, if I can make you all enjoy this for a little while, my job is done. My work is done. I don't even know why all of you are tuning in, to be honest with you. But so that's what's going on with Impact Wrestling. I don't want to give, too much ahead of this because Impact Wrestling is obviously behind when it comes to TV. This past week, they had the #1 contenders match for the Knockouts title, which Jordan Grace won. And if anybody follows spoilers, I think you know what happens next. So it's very hard. I don't want to come up here and say, Impact today from Mexico City, Mexico. Taya Valkyrie sitting at ringside. Jordan Grace defeats Kira. Get the hell out of here. That's why I like live TV. That's why I don't like pre-recorded stuff, especially when you record it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in advance. You got people who won the title, lost the title, got suspended, got married, had a kid, showed up in AEW, NXT, this and that. And meanwhile, their match didn't even happen on TV yet. In this day and age, that is really, you better have an unbelievably good product. AEW may not have a spectacular product, compared to obviously WWE because of the entertainment value. Otherwise, AEW would be doing 2-3 million viewers a week. But AEW, they had the pre-recorded show on the cruise ship. Their ratings were fine. So that just shows you the loyalty of AEW fans right now, that even if you do have a recorded show once in a while, they're still going to tune in. You might lose a couple of viewers, but not too much. But when it comes to Impact Wrestling, you got all these other feds out there, and you think you're going to record shows 4, 5, 6 weeks in advance, and that's why they don't reveal the numbers. If I told you the numbers, and I don't want to say it publicly because I don't know how wrong it is, and it seems it might be a little exaggerated, but the number of viewers that they get on Access TV is so low. How low is it, Don Tony? It's low. I mean, let's put it this way. It's not in the 3-digit numbers, but it is. Let me put it this way. Some baseball stadiums, they could sell out, and Impact Wrestling has less than that. It's not a nice number at all. And especially when you have things pre-recorded, right now, and I've said this for about 3-4 months, we knew that after the Hardys were out of there and the Broken Universe and all that stuff, it felt like a lot of Impact Wrestling. Well, it's really when they went to Canada. Their identity is gone. And what they've been doing for a while now, and I've been saying this forever, is they're throwing shit on the wall and hoping that something sticks. Joey Ryan saying that, Rob Van Dam's girlfriend wants to touch it. Oh my God, I can't wait to next week to see if she touches it. So, Impact Wrestling, anybody that goes, enjoy yourself. I mean, you got a lot of wrestlers from yesteryear. If you were a fan of TNA wrestling in the past, and you're going to be in that area, definitely go to the event, because everybody that's going to be on that card, and yes, a lot of them are way past their prime, I guarantee you that they're going to have some pride factor. And it's not just a payday. And I know people like D'Lo Brown and Mr. Anderson and others, even though they may not have been the main event, of the history of TNA, but they will bust their ass to give you as good of a performance as they could possibly give. So, even though Impact Wrestling's overall product has major issues, if you're around WrestleMania and, that's your option, take it. And seriously, if you're looking to make a couple of bucks, I would buy the front row tickets right now because I think you'll be able to make a couple of dollars down the line, but that's pretty sad. When you're a WrestleMania weekend and you have every promotion in their mother in that area and you still have front row tickets still on sale, that's not good. And again, I know I got a little sidetracked before, but I'll say it again. Cody Rhodes is he's either an absolute moron or he's an absolute liar for saying that that's their baby, WWE's baby. That's why they're not going to Florida WrestleMania weekend. In business, you don't lower your guard for the competitor. And look, AEW may not think that they're any competition for WWE, that WWE is the number one big dog. And yes, some people have done interviews in AEW saying, look, we're not trying to compete with WWE. We're just trying to, give an alternate product. I guarantee you, and I've been saying this since week 1 of Wednesday Night Dynamite, WWE wants to choke and put AEW out of business. They don't want to give any promotion a chance to gain momentum. Sure, all the wrestlers out there, hey, it's another place to work. Competition is good. If AEW turns it up a notch, it's going to force WWE to turn it up a notch. Yeah, as far as fans and wrestlers saying that, I agree 1,000%. I guarantee you, WWE management in the back is not saying, let them have that. Let them enjoy it. No. If they could make money, they're going to make money. Right now, they could care less if they're winning or losing in the ratings. Sure, it's a pride factor, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. You look at the WWE women's division in NXT, and I've said this for a while, and almost all even the biggest diehard AEW fans out there will agree with this as well. The NXT women's roster is probably the best female roster in the United States, possibly even Japan if you want to go that far, because of so many women having multiple tools. There's a lot of Japanese women out there that are extremely talented, but you bring them to the United States, and no matter how talented they are, if they get on the microphone, Asuka could get away with it. Kairi Sane could get away with it. Io Shirai could get away with it. But you do that in another federation, you could be the number one female wrestler in Japan. Unless it's hardcore fans that are in attendance to see that woman, you know what you're going to get? What? Look what happened today. They announced next week that Britt Baker is going to take on Yuka Sakazaki. She's going to make her AEW Dynamite debut. How many of you out there saw podcasters tonight already making fun of her? Just totally belittling her? Now, is she an awesome, unbelievable talent? No. She's not bad either. But, and I looked it up just to make sure that I was accurate in this. Fyter Fest. Remember the three-way with Rio taking on Nyla Rose? Who was the other person in that match? Yuka Sakazaki. AEW Double or Nothing, a pay-per-view that these podcasters recapped. She was in the 6-woman tag team match. This isn't her AEW debut. It's her AEW Dynamite debut. She's not a bad wrestler, but you saw tonight people out there that are looking for the Twitter hand job or, I got to make the funny instant insult. It's like minute rice. It's like microwave. Instead of looking up on Google, hey, what is she about? Let me go check it out. Let me see where she's been. Oh, she's been in AEW, right? Let me go. No, instead, it's like the microwave insult. Don't take the time to do a little research to see if the woman is any good. No, let me go on Twitter and let me immediately make fun of her. Let me immediately throw one-shot insults. Oh, look, I got 17 hearts lights. I'm popular. They love me. I could go to sleep tonight feeling wanted. Oh, I feel so loved right now. Morons. Seriously, morons. Next week, we got Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks teaming up to take on the Lucha Brothers, the Butcher, and the Blade. I think you'll start seeing a little bit more dissension building between Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. And it won't be as much of miscommunication in the ring, although that will probably help. But it's going to be the Young Bucks that is going to lead the split between Omega and Hangman Page. The Young Bucks will be incorporated in this. I wouldn't be surprised, since everybody in management is the focal point for the most part of AEW and Moxley. I wouldn't be surprised if Omega ends up granting a friendly tag team challenge for the belts to the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega finds out about it and is pissed off about it. And that may lead to the Young Bucks winning the belts, which you know is ultimately going to happen, and deservingly so. They're obviously a top tag team. And by the way, tonight, the only two problems that I had tonight at all with AEW, and I'm sure maybe later on something will pop up where somebody missed a punch or this and that, and maybe I didn't catch it. I saw the Nyla Rose Big Swall match, but the only two problems that I had tonight, again, was referees. And if you think I'm exaggerating, go back and watch it. Example number one, Nyla Rose versus Big Swall. There was a spot, and this might sound like nitpicking from me, and if anybody out there, you know, if you're new to my shows, I don't do match-by-match recaps. Of course, I'll mention some of the matches, but I give you my overall thoughts on everything. I don't sit here, AEW Dynamite in Cleveland, Ohio, dark match, opening match, second match, we had a promo, a backset. No, I talk about anything that catches my eye that I want to share with people out there. That's what I do. And I also got to trim these shows down a little bit. Now, right now, we've done about an hour, 65 minutes. So I like to get this done in about a half an hour. But anyway, you got Big Swall. And she's taking on Nyla Rose. Match is, you know, not bad. I mean, Nyla Rose, she's not extremely polished yet. She's still got, you know, a lot of improvement to go. But to me, they had a little bit too long of a match. But my problem was the referee. And this is little things like that that annoy the crap out of me. You have them outside the ring. Now, I understand, you know, when two wrestlers outside the ring, the referee's supposed to count to 10. And if, you know, they don't go back in the ring by the 10 count, they're disqualified or counted out. Whatever you want to do, count it out. So anyway, there was one part, and go back and watch it, where Nyla Rose takes Big Swall's hand and wraps it around the metal part of the corner turnbuckle. And she's squeezing it, and Big Swall is selling it. And instead of the referee going, 1, 2, 3, 4, break the hold, break the hold. You know what this Matarazzo is doing? The 10 count, that they're outside the ring. Now think about that for a minute. She's got her hand twisted in a ring post, doing an illegal move, and the referee's there going. And I'm sorry for people on the audio download that are like, hey, I can't see what he's doing. I'm a video podcaster now. I will always give you audio versions of what I do, but I'm a video guy now. And, you know, I apologize. I try to keep it at a minimum, but the referee is doing the total wrong thing. Now, this is not a case where AEW management says, you know, no, do the 10 count instead. You know, we're innovative. We're innovative. You don't do the 5 count. It was just, I saw that. I'm like, is this referee? I know some of the referee sloppiness is not their fault. It could be the wrestlers themselves. But things like that keep happening over and over again. And I know there does not seem to be a plethora of referees out there, but that was terrible tonight. Go back and see it. Another thing is the main event tonight. Game Genie rules once again. I invite anybody out there, look at Aubrey Edwards when you got wrestlers not just double teaming for a couple of seconds, 10, 20, 30 seconds. As there's like 2, 3, 4 people in the ring doing stuff, this is what you got. As moves, I don't want to keep my glass on because then it'll go flying. But as people are doing moves, you just pretend like you hear like thumpings in the mat. Instead of her saying, get out of the ring, get out, this is what's happening. It's like somebody having a seizure. That's what she's doing tonight. Go back and look at the moves. And then the best part is I caught her at least 4 or 5 times tonight where she's like telling a wrestler who is standing on the rope, like who's not even the legal man in the ring. She's like almost like saying like, you know, don't you go in the ring now. Don't you go in the ring now. And just ignoring the people. It's just, I don't like stuff like that. And that, okay, Shezzy's asking me what Game Genie means. Shezzy, you listen to my shows every freaking week, and you don't know what the Game Genie rules mean? Game Genie rules, okay? Anybody out there that's a longtime video game fan out there, my glass are a little steamed now. I don't know why. But it's a little hot in here. My face is still hot from slapping it before. But back in the day, when we used to have like PlayStations and stuff like, it used to sell something called the Game Genie. I think like it was a Sega Genesis or something. And what happened is if you played a video game and you wanted to cheat, but there was like almost no way to cheat. So what would happen is you plug the cartridge in this thing called the Game Genie. And then the Game Genie would plug into the unit. And then what would happen is that if you're playing Mario Brothers, you'd get 50 lives or you would have infinite lives and you could play for days. And so people, excuse me, everybody, it's Big Swole, not Swall. I'm sorry, I have a New York accent. It's called, I say Big Swall. That's how I say it. I apologize, but that's how I say it. Anyway, yeah, Game Shark is another one. Game Shark is a great example. But for me, Game Genie rules in AEW is when these referees just allow like anything to happen in a match. And I've been a wrestling fan since 1979. Tag team wrestling, especially heels, they always cheat. They always double team. They always do this stuff. But when you see it on TV, it's like the referee, instead of always in storyline trying to stop the people doing what they're doing, she's going, as the move's going, bin, bin, bin. And then after it happens, like she's hitchhiking. Like I'm having a seizure. Can I have a ride? 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 Can I have it? It's annoying. The best thing they did was the number one contenders match a couple of weeks ago. They made it no DQ. Good. Make it no DQ, and then they can do whatever they want. That's sloppiness, in my opinion. And you're going to see it next week, too. 8-man tag? Oh, my God. Could you imagine the disarray? But the matches are fun. The matches are fun. The people that are there are going home happy. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. But to me, that's laziness. That's laziness. You know how stupid it looks in the ring that you have during the match where a referee is trying to stop this or reprimanding someone or, oh, I didn't see the tag. But meanwhile, all the other moves, like, I don't know. I don't like it. Just my opinion. Anyway, AEW Dynamite, it opened up, as I said earlier, with Moxley, Jericho confrontation. I have no idea who the other Bronx boys that came out. Is that what he said? I don't even know. I immediately thought of Master P, the No Limit Soldiers. Is that what he used to do? Heidi Ho or Hootie Hoo? I'm white Italian guy. I have no idea. But basically, Moxley is in the ring. He's not a role model, but Jericho's a bully and this and that. And you know what? I have brought this up for years. I understand it's entertainment, predetermined, cat's out of the bag, totally get it. But I love when some wrestlers still try to keep a little bit of kayfabe alive, just a little bit. Moxley wearing the patch at moments on the cruise, that was great. I talked about it several years ago when Zack Ryder. By the way, Chelsea Green, Zack Ryder's teaching her well how to lose. Keeps losing. No, I'll give Hootie Hoo. Is that what it is? Hootie Hoo. I probably look like the biggest dork right now doing that. But, hey, I love all of you. But, no, we'll give a little props to Chelsea Green later because I actually did a little research tonight just to check on Chelsea Green's recent record in NXT, and it's actually not as bad as it appears. But, they opened up with the more of a WWE type framework with promos in the ring, confrontations. It was funny. I haven't looked at it back yet. Honestly, I didn't go out of my way to find it, but somebody told me that one of Atlas Security's buttocks was sticking out during this. I don't know if it was a fan cam, but, Atlas Security, I mean, my God, ECW days, it's nice to see some of them still around. Some of them are deceased. And by the way, I'll mention this now before I forget. Rest in peace. A lot of you out there have no idea who this man is. But on the Northeast, we have this promotion, NYWC. It's been around for a very long time. Zack Ryder came out of it. Tony Nese, Kurt Hawkins came out of it. I actually used to go to some of the events. In fact, one of the first NYWC events I ever went to was Bobby Roode was there. And I'm sure some of you on the Northeast have been to some of their shows, but a manager by the name of Crusher Dugan, who was very important behind the scenes for NYWC, died last week. In fact, he was laid to rest yesterday. 49 or 50 years old. And I didn't hear of any illness. I don't know what the cause of death was, but I know a lot of wrestlers here in the Northeast were paying a little bit of respects for him. So his real name was John Mayer, M-A-I-R, but he passed away last week, and very involved behind the scenes. I met him 3 times that I could remember over the years, but, never heard anything bad about the guy, but just wanted to mention it. But just getting back to AEW Dynamite, you had the confrontation in the beginning, Jericho saying, it's 5-on-1. Moxley says he believes, they didn't want to announce who the attendance was, but he was basically saying everybody in the arena versus 5. And then Jericho, Santana Ortiz, Hager, and Guevara, they bring out 5 other guys who claim to be from the Bronx, with Santana Ortiz. This leads to a brawl, and you have a big pull apart. It wasn't bad. It was actually pretty fun. Not a bad opener at all. The crowd ate it up. And again, bravo to AEW, because right after this, they showed the promo with MJF and Wardlow in the basement, giving the envelope of cash to Butcher and the Blade, even though they were not victorious with the Young Bucks. But again, one thing you saw tonight was a little bit more in the pre-recorded promo department, and that there is zero wrong with. Cut down a minute here, a minute there. That Pac promo tonight was excellent. If the funniest thing or if the best comeback you could come back at is, his surroundings and what he was wearing, then he probably did a pretty damn good job. And, a little bit of character development, and not just the people that we know are mainstays. You have to get that balance. Now, granted, once they have that second cable TV show, that's where you really will start getting character development. They will probably do a feature maybe every week or every other week where they spend 2-3 minutes on a person. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of work involved with these segments as well. You do a sit down with someone. Look, Jungle Jack Perry, that was to hype up one match. But if you're going to bring up a wrestler that maybe is not a household name yet, that you really want people to start connecting with, maybe use Darby Allin for an example. You're not going to just have him sitting in a chair and then show footage of him walking down a dark street and, there's our package. You pull photos, you pull video, you pull stuff from yesteryear, you show some of his skateboarding. By the way, that skateboard shot tonight with Guevara, that looked pretty stiff. I don't know if anybody else out there felt like, hope he really didn't get hurt, because some of Darby Allin's work in the ring is, how do I say this the right way? It's not as polished as it should be. And sometimes the way he lands, you see just a little off here and there, and it gets a little scary at times. But that skateboard shot, my immediate thought was, okay, Guevara versus Darby Allin next week. They haven't advertised that. I don't know if they'll sell that he's injured for a week, but, you definitely, and, Elijah, I have been saying this since Jim Ross said it on Dynamite. I love Jungle Jack Perry more than Jungle Boy. He's getting older. He's a man. Jungle Jack Perry is a nice mix of all 3. You got Jungle from Jungle Boy. You got Jack Perry because that's his name. And he's got a famous father who unfortunately passed away young. Jungle Jack Perry is the best of all worlds. Why? Because it looked Jungle Boy sounds primitive. Oh! Jungle Jack Perry. It sounds like a nice wrestling name, Jungle Boy. You know, you don't get too many people who could keep the word boy in their name and then become older. You know, the guy's definitely going to be a star. I laughed at people who thought he was going to be a heavyweight champion one day, maybe in 205 Live if they bring it back. But, Jungle Jack Perry is a name that he could use when he turns 30, 40. Heartbreak Kid, Boy Toy. That's very rare that you could have someone get older and still use the boy term. So Jungle Jack Perry just sounds more of like a star. Just my opinion. Yeah. Donkey Kong Tony. No, Friday, tune into Mailbag with the Scumbag. So anyway, I don't know if anybody caught it. Look, Jim Ross is getting older. He's going to make mistakes. I think people are trying to insist that Jim Ross be the Jim Ross from 20 years ago, and it's not going to happen. Tonight, he called MJF Matthew Jacob Friedman and was quickly corrected, and that was not intentional. Having Britt Baker making fun of Jim Ross getting the names wrong, that's just to try to, make it realistic, like, oh my God, she went there. Trust me, Jim Ross apologizes for making mistakes. He's an older man. He's gone through some health issues. He lost his wife. He's had some tragedies. He's getting older. We are all mortal. Everybody gets mortal when they get older. It's sad to see. Nobody out there wants to see Jim Ross make mistakes. Nobody wants to see him fail. If anybody's sitting at home and just can't wait to find a reason to tweet, just to throw insults out there, like I said, I may come off a little bit too goofy on social media sometimes, but I try to spend more time on the positive than the negative. You see people out there when they're tweeting 20, 30, 40, 50 times in a night, 80% of what they write is usually, negative. And then when it gets worn out, after it's beaten to death and that, private area is all stretched out, then all of a sudden is, oh, we should all just get along. Look at all the people that were making fun of the fans on the Jericho cruise. All the comments. I'm not going to bring up individuals. You saw what was out there. I mean, people just couldn't help themselves but to make fun of the people there. And then, what happened? A lot of these goofs out there, and when I say goofs, I always mean podcasters and websites. I usually don't mean fans, because I don't know a lot of people personally, but you think some people should set more of an example. But the funny thing is that they're all laughing, but meanwhile, they're the ones jealous that they're not on the ship. They don't want to see anybody else having a good time. I mean, how many of you saw a few people in the podcasting world taking cheap shots at me because all I wanted to do is try something different and have fun and put a new dimension of what I do and maybe, get a little bit of an extra income because I am getting married and have more responsibilities. Oh, that's such a horrible thing. And then what happened with the Jericho cruise? They found out some of their friends were going. So now, which way should I tweet? Which way should I tweet, George? Which way should I tweet? Which way should I tweet? I said all these negative things about the fans, but my friends are going, oh, we should all just get along. We should just all get along, George. We should all just get along. Bipolar. I don't like making fun of bipolar because I know some people who were suffering from it, but there's whack jobs out there. Some of the most nicest people that you come across in the podcasting world are the biggest whack jobs, I mean, thank God I don't associate myself with any of them, and they're extremely, extremely angry that you're on this page right now and not on theirs. But anyway, but nobody wants to see Jim Ross get old and screw up. Nobody wants to see their favorite baseball player do it. Nobody wants to see their favorite basketball player. And once again, my condolences, family, friends, fans, Kobe Bryant. I talked about it in detail on Breakfast Soup Sunday afternoon with Mish, and I talked about it during the Royal Rumble pay-per-view recap. So just an absolute tragedy. And props to SCU tonight, coming out with the Kobe Bryant jerseys. That was very, very cool. But, Jim Ross, you got to accept what it is. He's still a hell of a lot better than a lot of other wrestling commentators out there. Maybe not the ones that are on mainstream TV, but there's not many other choices out there. You need names that you identify with. This is a televised product. WWE got away with Dio Madden and Vic Joseph and others, and they didn't do a bad job. But, AEW's got to be careful. I still believe, in the end, Taz will be on Dynamite. I have been pushing for Taz to get hired with AEW for months. You've heard it here. And I think that is a big move for them. You may not think Taz is the greatest commentator there, but, Taz is going to be that Jesse Ventura, the Corey Graves. He's got to be. You can't have every announcer on AEW Dynamite or Dark saying, that was great, that was awesome, that's a future star. You need a wise ass in the commentating booth, but not just a wise ass who, if you see him, good, somebody intimidates you a little bit. So anyway, as I said, Nyla Rose earlier, Big Swole. Nyla Rose wins. I don't think Big Swole loses any momentum with this. You could see that they're aiming for her to get more momentum right now, and she's going to be in line to be one of their champions very, very soon. Awesome Kong, maybe she's doing a dark match tonight. If anybody out there has the dark match, I feel bad telling people in the chat room to post the matches. If you could post the matches without the spoilers, that would be good, because they don't air until next week. I do know that there was one dark match that took place earlier today, but if anybody could put that up there, I'd appreciate it. Cody beating Kip Sabian. I don't know if anybody else felt this way. Again, I took notice immediately that MJF is not laying the insults in heavy towards Arn Anderson. That seems to be that's off limits. But Arn Anderson looks like he's dropped a few pounds. And I need to reiterate what I've been saying. The man's deserved to sit back, relax, have a couple extra brewskis and maybe some French fries with those steak. I am not making fun of him in any way, shape, or form. But you would think that if MJF really wants to get under the skin of Cody, that he would harass, embarrass Arn Anderson a hell of a lot more. What's up, Mitch, I got a surprise for you in about 10 days. It's a video surprise. It's not the one-chip challenge. We are going to be doing that, but I can't say anything else. But I will say it has to do with Mitch. That's all I'll say. But Cody's match with Kip Sabian was fine. There was one point where, during the match, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford kept smooching with each other. And there was one time where they both were at the ringside area and they closed their eyes to kiss each other. And Joey Janela put his face right between both of them. I wish a little bit more would have been done with Joey Janela during that. But it was still a funny segment nonetheless. Match ended with Cody hitting 3 crossroads in a row, which looked really, really good. And they hyped up next week with the 10 lashes. Arn Anderson getting animated with the referee I could have done without, and with the women's shoe and all that. Look, seeing Arn Anderson is better than not seeing Arn Anderson. The Tully Blanchard experiment with, what's-his-face, Sean Spears, to me, it failed. They tried. To me, it just never worked. Cody and Arn Anderson, there needs to be a little bit more emotional investment in there. And maybe it is going to set up where MJF or Wardlow or a combination thereof do beat down Arn Anderson down the line. Who knows? They can handcuff Arn Anderson. This way he doesn't have to take any back bumps or anything like that. They could just handcuff him to a rope and just start whipping him. In fact, that's what I would even do next week. Besides whipping Cody, whip Arn Anderson. Pay him some extra. So, Eddie Valentino, what's up, my friend? Just got back from AEW Dynamite. Prove it. Tell us the dark matches. I'm kidding. So anyway, advertise for next week. Cody taking the 10 lashes. Moxley versus Ortiz. Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakazaki. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks versus the Butcher, the Blade, and the Lucha Brothers. And again, I don't know if they're going to do Darby Allin versus Guevara, but it kind of feels like they're going to be leaning towards that way. Main event tonight, Private Party and Darby Allin, losing to Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz. It was a decent match. I mean, Private Party still has a long way to go, but they are obviously big-time stars in the future. It was a fun match. Again, Game Genie rules. If you can accept that, then there's no problem to it. But, just don't keep insisting that you're trying to tighten things up and then just keep doing that, because it just feels like, somebody in the back needs to step up. And like I said, you have 6 cooks and no lead chef that's really, stepping up, you're going to run into a little bit of issue. Now, Ring of Honor news. We know Ring of Honor is going to be in Florida. And, there's some hype with New Japan getting involved, and we have some members of the Bullet Club coming in as well. You're going to have Marty Scurll against Jay White, I believe, at the Supercard of Honor, April 4th in Lakeland, Florida. There was a video that was actually played online earlier this week. And I tell you, I understand you have to advertise these guys to try to sell more tickets. Something tells me Ring of Honor and New Japan in Florida, especially last year with MSG selling out, I don't think they would have had any problem selling big time in Florida. But last week, we got this video promo, and as I'm watching this, I couldn't help but to think to myself, how great would these two guys be in AEW right now, brawling with the Young Bucks? Better yet, brawling with Santana and Ortiz. Tell me these two guys wouldn't be a perfect fit in AEW right now.
Now, y'all probably don't know this because we don't be talking about this type of shit. But our ROH deals are up in just a couple months, in a matter of mere months. And now everybody want to know what's next. Everybody want to know what's next. They said, Briscoes, y'all done did it all in ROH. They said, y'all done did it all. All that is to be done, y'all done did it. The current tag team of the year. Y'all see that on the intranet? Y'all catch wind of the tag team of the decade right here, baby. Of the decade. We done beat everybody who's come through here. We beat them all, send them packing. Here they come, there they go. 11 times, baby. 11 times World Tag Team Champions. And they say that we done did it all. And they want to know what's next. Hey, check. What come after 11? 12, baby. That's what's next. 12 is next. We them boys, what the hell we look like trying to win somebody else's damn tag team title? We them boys, we re-signed with ROH, we ain't going no damn where, so let the ass whoopers continue to commence.
They re-signed with Ring of Honor. Now, their contracts, as they were saying on video, were not going to be up for a few months. Why not turn that into a long storyline? Why not give people the impression that they could jump ship, maybe take the Ring of Honor tag titles and go someplace else? Why would you immediately post an announcement on social media that you re-signed the Briscoes with Ring of Honor? I saw that and I'm like, come on, man. It's not that freaking hard. They could have milked this into a storyline. I think it would have been hot. Could you imagine all of the fans online just fantasizing them here, them here, them here, them here? I mean, especially that you hear these news that Ring of Honor would love to work with this promotion. Ring of Honor would love to work with this promotion. Marty Scurll would love to work with AEW. Love to work. Why would you immediately blow your load and say, we re-signed the Briscoes? I don't understand why they did that. Literally after that video came out, why include that part they saw? I don't get that. But anyway, Eddie Valentino, I unfortunately don't have time to go on Twitter. Shout out to Adam DeMoy, my friend. He hasn't watched Ring of Honor in a decade. Trust me, it's not all bad. I mean, they've had obviously a lot of problems, and for a while we've been saying Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor may be battling to see who closes up shop first. I think Ring of Honor has a little bit newfound life. And sure, look, when we get to WrestleMania time, that's when everybody puts on their tux. That's why everybody clean shaves. They might wear brand new underwear, and everybody tries to put on like their best look. But then once WrestleMania comes and goes, it's back to the sloppy crap. So let's see if we feel this same way a couple of months after WrestleMania. Anyway, AEW Dark, you had Mel. That's Rhea Ripoff, as I like to call her. Nothing against her personally, but I don't know why they chose that look. Especially, you see Rhea Ripoff versus Hikaru Shida. Best Friends versus Sean Spears and Colin Delaney. Wow. Sonny Kiss and Brandon Cutler versus Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. Thank you, Eddie Valentino. In fact, Eddie, PM me on Twitter. You said you sent me a couple of messages. Let me know what wrestling shirt or video you want. It's on me. Thank you for the dark matches. And we didn't put spoilers, by the way. So that pretty much was AEW tonight. The main event was fun. And like I said, if you don't mind the Game Genie rules, I don't have any problem with it either. Now, NXT, I apologize to some of you out there that say, oh, DT, you don't dedicate as much time in NXT with AEW. That's because NXT is more about the in-ring wrestling. And, what am I going to do? Talk about how wonderful the grizzled young vet. There's spots that we enjoy. And tonight felt more of building up to NXT's next event than anything else. Sure, we crowned the latest winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Last year, Ricochet and Aleister Black beat the Forgotten Sons to win it. This year, the finals was Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. I know I'm doing the main event first. It was a great match. Don't get me wrong. The right people won, in my opinion. It's just that, I haven't heard Colin Delaney's name in a long time. But I'm just not into the Grizzled Young Veterans yet. Them being in the main event on NXT, going against Dynamite, going against Jericho, Santana Ortiz versus Private Party and Darby Allin, and you put the Grizzled Young Veterans in the main event. They are talented, and I guarantee you that some of you out there may not agree with what I'm saying. Look, I totally respect that. We disagree sometimes. Remember, this is more of an opinion show than anything else. I opine. That's what I do. But right now, there's nothing about the Grizzled Young Veterans that makes me stop and go to the edge of my seat and sit there wondering, are they going to win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic? No. I went in here. I thought I got my equipment set up earlier for those that tuned in live. Too bad there was so many of you tuning in live. I would have gave each and every one of you a prize earlier for allowing me the extra 20 minutes to sweat and get all paranoid and frantic here. But, fixing the problem, and you stuck with me. And trust me, that's why I do this. I know this sounds nuts when I say this, but I swear to God, I mean this. Every video show that I do, because I am video now. I don't do audio anymore. I will do audio, versions of it. But every video thing that I do, I treat it like a pay-per-view. I treat it like I got to give you my absolute best. Sure, I'm not professional, and still, I got a long way to go. I'm only doing this 2 weeks, but I try my hardest because I think I kind of owe it to you since you're taking the time to watch this. And again, Thank you, Jason, for giving me a plug. A lot of people that, I thought were my friends. And no, I'm not trying to claim soup or anything. They plugged me too. But some people out there who I thought were my friends have yet to tell any of their viewers or listeners, hey, DT's got his on video now. Why don't you go check it out? I don't really give a crap. To me, that's an even bigger honor. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate every podcast out there that mentioned me. I love it. I thank you for it. They're comfortable in their skin that they know that their fans are not going to leave them simply because there's another option out there. But there are people out there that are just petrified of losing people. And some of the people that you would think would be my, good friends out there, notice how they never retweet anything that I plug with the video, never like anything I plug with the video. They think we don't notice, but we notice. I notice. Show them my titties. Give me money and I show you my titties. No, I'm not going to pull the shirt off right now. I got to finish this. Another time. I'll wear like a button-down shirt and I'll flash you. How's that? You can see the AEW Japan shirt though. So anyway, so the main event was great tonight. Look, I think some people out there, including me, wondered maybe Matt Riddle might be put in the doghouse because of the confrontation with Brock Lesnar. The only reason why I didn't think that was going to happen is because what Matt Riddle has said on social media about wanting Brock Lesnar to give him a rub and retire Brock Lesnar, that wasn't said a week ago. He's been making comments in the past. Just because he crossed paths with Brock Lesnar Royal Rumble weekend doesn't mean that he had just said that. So this is something that's already, been there, steamed. And trust me, I think WWE probably in management enjoyed the fact that Brock Lesnar went up to his face and said, "You could get my name out of your mouth. I'm not doing nothing with you." Whatever he said. So this is not something that just broke and, oh my God, Matt Riddle. I think maybe his elimination in the Royal Rumble might have been a little bit sooner, and maybe Baron Corbin doing it might be a little bit like, all right, here's your little bit of punishment. But Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne winning was the right way to go. And I have a feeling, and I brought this up before, brought it up last week. The one thing that disappoints me about NXT from the time they debuted on the USA Network on a regular basis to now is we have not seen much as far as NXT stars graduating to the main roster. Yes, you will see some of it now because of WrestleMania time. It's about time. But there's a couple of people you would have thought over the last 3 or 4 months may have been, put to the main roster, especially with, some of the ratings being really caca. You would have thought you would have saw more than just Breezango sent, you know what I mean? So I think a year from now, Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne are both on the main roster on a regular basis. Last year was Ricochet and Aleister Black winning the Tag Team Classic. Look what their years got. I mean, I don't think people realize, yes, they were advertised as NXT stars for many months, but I don't think people realize how short of a time Ricochet and Aleister Black are on the main roster. So, we'll see where it goes. But some of you are asking me, do I ever see Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar? Probably not. Probably not. Never say never, but I think right now the fans that see that as a fantasy match is very, very small, in my opinion. And I would be shocked if Brock Lesnar ever showed up as part of his contract. It's not like he's going to show up on WWE in NXT in Florida just because he's in the neighborhood. He feel like stopping by. Oh, this is a free one on me, Vince. No, I'd be shocked if WWE ever works something out with Brock Lesnar. He shows up in NXT, suplexing a whole bunch of people and having a match here and there. I would love it. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if we'll ever see that. Finn Balor versus Trent Seven, decent match. Went a little bit too long. After the match was over, I don't know, Finn Balor's chest looked a lot. Hey, would you ever expect any of us to say that Finn Balor's chest looked like Trevor Murdoch's? Now, I don't mean as far as cut and tight and in shape, but look at Trevor Murdoch's chest on NWA Power after what went down this past weekend on pay-per-view. Then look at Finn Balor's chest after the match tonight. Both of their chests, though, you trust me, if you wanted to haze either one of them tonight, do what I did with Lowlife Louis Ramos back in 2006. Take a can of Ajax and just sprinkle it on their chest. Do it while they're sleeping. You ever see the Tom and Jerry cartoons where Tom, he steps on his foot or something, or he gets like stabbed, and he just the top of his lungs, he goes ah. That's what I think Balor or Trevor Murdoch would react if you hazed them with put some Ajax on their chest right now. See what happens. So anyway, Shotzi Blackheart, as I said earlier, and for those that may be tuning in late live, I put up the photo of her with her tank. She's had that tank before AEW was ever on the air, so this was not, retaliation to Guevara. Don't listen to those people out there who are just trying to get tweet, you know what. But she came out there and beat Deonna Purrazzo in 3 minutes. I don't know what they're doing with Deonna Purrazzo. Not everybody could win, but I expected Deonna Purrazzo to be utilized a little bit better in the last couple of months. And I think she recently won a main event match, possibly. But I'm just, something's up with Deonna Purrazzo. Not saying that she's in the doghouse or anything like that, but I think WWE needs to change that around soon because she is extremely talented. But again, a very quick match. I was very surprised to see it end that quickly. Keith Lee coming out celebrating he's champion. Damian Priest comes out and confronts him, and Damian talks about how he likes to take things, beautiful women, people's prized possessions. He wants to take Keith Lee's North American title. Then this brings out Dominik Dijakovic. See, I got his name right. For those that didn't follow me on audio, it took me the longest time. I would always say Dijakovic. I literally like a bird. You know when you train a bird? Hello, 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 hello. I literally like a bird. I tried to say it 1,000 times. And I would say it in my sleep. I would count Dijakovics in my sleep. And I wake up and I'd say Dijakovic. And I'm like, moron, it's Dijakovic. And I kept screwing it up. But now I got it right. Dominik Dijakovic. He comes out and calls Damian Priest a Marilyn Manson ripoff, which some people are like, I didn't see that all that much. To me, he doesn't look like a Marilyn Manson ripoff, but all right, whatever. So we get Dominik Dijakovic, and he beats Damian Priest. Great match. I guess we may see Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic rekindle that competitive feud. I don't know if I would want to see like a best of 7 or anything like that. Grimtastic Gaming. I see everybody in the chat. I try to mingle while we're doing the show. Sometimes I might not be looking because I got notes too, and I want to make sure I cover everything. But I try to shout out everybody I can. So it was a decent match. Damian Priest, I've been saying since day one, that guy, he's got it. Just got to put a little more together. That guy's going to be a star in the main roster. If he doesn't become a main roster star, it's because of him just totally screwing up personally, privately, or maybe he just falls out of love with wrestling. Guy's got something. He just got to put a little bit more together. You know what's funny? I had the same feeling towards EC3 back then. But, and I even, when EC3 was still extremely green in TNA, I thought that guy was going to be a major player. I am just disappointed with the way WWE has used him. Absolutely disappointed. I don't get why they can't figure it out with him. It's not that hard, but it is what it is. No matter what we say is not going to change how they handle it. But very disappointed with the way they use EC3. Next, they're hyping up NXT Portland, and they're going to announce who Adam Cole's opponent is going to be. We have Tommaso Ciampa interviewed by Kathy Kelly, and Ciampa says that he's going to be Adam Cole's opponent. He says, Daddy's coming home, but tonight Daddy's going to make sure of it. And I have to mention this, Any of you out there see the commercial for this movie that's either coming out or already came out? It's Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. Anybody see that god-awful crap? I saw that, and that reminded me like when I was a kid or a teenager and drunk, and we would watch like repeat episodes of Fantasy Island, and we used to always like have like really twisted editions of it. Like, oh, I go on Fantasy Island and I take advantage of every girl that's on the island, or I would just, be able to rob a bank or do this and that, and I get away with everything. And me and my friends were coming out with these really twisted versions of Fantasy Island. And now some moron who was probably drunk also looking at an old TV Land episode of Fantasy Island like, oh, what if things went wrong and maybe Mr. Rourke had a breakdown and he decided he was going to, pardon my language, fuck with everybody. That's what it looked like to me. What's next? The Love Boat is going to turn into like a disaster where terrorists are running it. Captain Stubing is going to turn around. Adu Akbar! Garbage. Looked like garbage. I saw Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. I'm like, please don't let it be a twisted ripoff. We did that shit in the 80s. Fantasy Island is a horror film. That's when you know you pretty much have, horrendous. But anyway, Ciampa goes to the ring, brings a table in the ring, spray paints an X. Adam Cole is going to get put through that X. We then see footage in the back of members of Undisputed Era laid out. Adam Cole's like, who did this? Adam Cole comes to the ring, has a confrontation with Ciampa, blindsides Adam Cole with a microphone, and yes, I watch both shows at the same time. That's what makes what I do a little different. I watch both, and I pay attention. So anyway, Ciampa gets the upper hand, puts Adam Cole through a table, and Ciampa's head is a little split open. And he's about to sign a contract, and the fans are telling Ciampa to use his blood, sign the contract with blood. So Ciampa takes the blood, wipes it on the contract, it's signed. We're going to have Tommaso Ciampa taking on Adam Cole for the NXT Heavyweight Championship. They also announced, where are my notes? They also announced Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano and Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. That's the next NXT takeover. And it was a great segment. Excellent segment. And, again, for me tonight, I enjoyed the segments with NXT more than the matches, because the segments are leading up to big matches. The matches themselves, like I said, Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai, as good as it was for a brawl, it was only 3 minutes long. Shotzi Blackheart and Deonna Purrazzo, 3 minutes long. Chelsea Green, she has a match with Kaden Carter. She loses. That's Kaden Carter's first win, I believe, in NXT. And, I was immediately, going to make the joke that, she's following the footsteps of Zack Ryder and gets a lot of losses. But I actually decided, in all fairness to Chelsea Green, let me do a little research. And I looked at Chelsea Green's win-loss record since the end of October. And WWE has been, how many of you out there are sick with the Triple H 50-50 booking? Well, this is NXT now. So 50-50 booking. Tell me this isn't 50-50 booking at its finest. This is her match results since the end of October. In order. She lost to Catalina Garcia. No, she defeated Catalina Garcia. She lost to Kaden Carter. She defeated Shotzi Blackheart. She teamed up with Deonna Purrazzo and lost to Kaden Carter and Xia Li. She defeated MJ Jenkins. She lost to Charlotte. She defeated Sarah Logan. She lost to Natty. She defeated Kaden Carter. And she lost the Royal Rumble. So you kind of leave the Royal Rumble out because, you get eliminated over the top rope. So if you take away the Royal Rumble, she's flip-flopping wins, losses since the end of October. So what that means, if this is true 50-50 booking, bet on green next time. I actually just thought of that. No, the casinos is bet on black or bet on red. Well, you know what? Bet on green. By the way, did Britt Baker actually say tonight that Cleveland finally has a baker? You're a goddamn dentist, Nimrod. We finally got a baker. I listened to that and I'm like, you're a dentist. What does that even mean? You finally have a baker. I'm just having fun here. But anyway, so, NXT, like I said, a decent show tonight. I'm very happy that Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne won. I love, the dynamic between them two. You kind of feel that this will lead into a match between them two down the line. The Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker. The Butcher and the Baldy. Is the Butcher the Baldy? Anyway. MLW this weekend. Fightland. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, former ECW Arena. I want to give you this lineup because anybody who lives around Philly, this is a card you should really consider checking out. Septimo Dragon versus Douglas James. Puma King and Gringo Loco versus Kota Brazil and Jordan Oliver. Davey Boy Smith versus Eric Stevens. Los Parks and Joseph Samael and Simon Gotch. Lumberjack match. It's going to be Los Parks versus Joseph Samael and Simon Gotch. Loki versus King Mo. Yeah, King Mo. Killer Cross versus Tom Lawler. That's the match I know a lot of people have their eyes on. Myron Reed versus Arez for the middleweight title. Alex Hammerstone versus T-Hawk for the openweight title. Jacob Fatu versus Sema for the heavyweight title. That's another match that I know a lot of you are looking forward to. Best wishes go out to Kota Ibushi. But for anybody out there that knows the news that's going around, do not listen to these scholars on these websites that don't even bother to do any research. If anybody out there that's fans of Kota Ibushi, and we're just about done, by the way, I couldn't keep it under 90 minutes, but we'll be around 2 hours, which is okay. Kota Ibushi, if you go around all the wrestling news sites, he's got an illness right now. He had influenza, the flu, which sucks to have in the first place. But people are saying that, oh my God, Kota Ibushi, he's been diagnosed with far worse than influenza. Oh my God, he's been diagnosed with Mallory-Weiss syndrome. Now that's not like the Mallory from Family Ties. Whenever I think of Mallory, I always think of Family Ties and how Mallory sometimes never wore bra, but hey, I was her age or maybe a little younger at the time, so hey, I can enjoy it. But Mallory-Weiss syndrome, oh my God, it's far worse than influenza. Just do a little Google search on Mallory-Weiss syndrome. Look, what Kota Ibushi has sucks, but basically what he has is if you cough a lot, or if anybody out there, all right, here's a good one. A lot of you out there may be a little bit overweight, or maybe you used to be overweight. How many of you out there ever had what's called a hiatal hernia? I've had two. I had one surgically repaired last year. Hiatal hernia sucks. And basically what it feels like is you always feel like you have acid indigestion. And sometimes you drink like crazy amounts of water to try to eliminate that burn. And you might take Pepsid and other stuff. Well, you could bleed internally because of a hiatal hernia. And how many of you out there went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor over the years and were told that your esophagus has eroded a little bit? None of this sounds pleasing, but it's not life-threatening. And when you have Mallory-Weiss syndrome, it's basically where the area where your esophagus meets up with the stomach is a little bit damaged, and it causes some bleeding. The thing is that most people, the bleeding stops on its own, and your body heals itself within a week to 10 days. And when you see all these news reports, keep Kota Ibushi in your prayers, influenza has led to Mallory-Weiss syndrome and blah, 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 blah. Here's a fact. In 2019, approximately 62,000 people died in the United States because of influenza. Do you know how many people died in 2019 in the United States from Mallory-Weiss syndrome? Less than 10. Mallory-Weiss syndrome is an erosion of the esophagus and the stomach, but that's usually happens because of a hiatal hernia, or if you lift something really heavy, You might rip something inside, or you may just be coughing up a lung, as people would say, and you start coughing up a little blood. That's what it is. This guy isn't diagnosed with some terminal illness. It sucks. He probably won't be able to wrestle for a week or two. But for the people out there that are trying to make it sound like his influenza has gotten worse, he's got Mallory-Weiss syndrome. Oh, my God. You should just remove those websites from your favorites page, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Oh, but Hokey News, the Golden Star reported it.
Do some research. Learn. What is Mallory-Weiss syndrome? Pray for Ibushi. Johnny Z, if there's a cool Kairi Sane shirt, I will definitely either wear it or put it on the wall back there. But, you know, what I'd love for all of you to do, I don't know why this is important, but a bunch of you have been saying to me the last 2 weeks since I started this, to tell all of you to hit the like button. Now, I know that sounds hypocritical because, you know, I laugh on Twitter because I could post like the most unbelievable news and nobody will like it because it's not catchy or I'm hating something. But for some reason here, a lot of you explain to me that because of the likes, like my show may show up as a suggestion. Can you imagine some of the people in wrestling that they're on YouTube just checking out things by, you know, the blue check marks, and then they see, oh, suggestion. That would be pretty funny. But so, yeah, if you want to do that for me, that would be awesome. And it doesn't cost anything. And also, my Twitter, @DonTonyD. I didn't get the chance to do this earlier. In fact, shit, I don't even have it in front of me, but I did a nice little graphic that said, you know, Don Tony, @DonTony, Twitter, and this, but so I didn't get a chance to load it because of what happened earlier. But if you want to, you know, follow me on Twitter, @DonTonyD, or better yet, if there are any shirt suggestions, something that you would love to see me wear or at least put in the background, tweet me and send me your suggestions. I already have a bunch that are going to go up there. And again, you know, like I said earlier, you know, I know some of you out there were trying to cause a little controversy, but if I wear a shirt from a wrestling promotion, now XPW I wore last week because I actually worked for them. But if I wear an AEW shirt or an NXT shirt or Thunder Rosa shirt, which I ordered, or NWA shirt, it's because I'm a fan of the product, the company, or the star. You know, so I'm not doing it to feel like I'm an employee. So I don't know why people would poo-poo on that. But if there's any shirt suggestions, and it doesn't just have to be wrestling, if there's a cool shirt out there that you think it would look cool on me or in the back, because, you know, a lot of you gave me the idea of putting a different shirt on the hook. You know, this week Jason's on the hook because he showed a lot of love my way. So send it to me, @DonTonyD on Twitter. YouTube is youtube.com/DonTony, but Twitter is DonTonyD. But anyway, everybody, I'm starting to ramble a little bit. We went 2 hours. My appreciation again to all of you out there that, you know, stuck around during that 15 minutes of disaster earlier. I know most of you watch this on the download after it's live, but I promise you, you got my word that, you know, double checking is no longer good for yours truly. I will make sure that every little nook and cranny of my setup is working perfectly before I go live. Because those listening or watching on the download right now, if you're asking, what am I talking about? When I went live earlier, you could hear the audio clips, you could hear my intro, but you couldn't hear me. And me, like a dumb Matarazzo, you know, what I did was I have my webcam loaded. I use the Logitech Brio. And, but I don't use the microphone from it. I use this. So I have to use this as a second audio source, and this goes into what you hear. So I had the webcam loaded, but I forgot to load this. So here I am, I'm talking, and the mixer is recording the audio just fine, but none of you could hear me. And I'm pressing audio, or I'm doing this and that. And I can only imagine how bad it looked. You probably were all laughing up a storm because you're looking at me and I'm like going crazy here. And then I realized, Stupid me. I forgot to add this as an audio source. So, and I have a list. I should have checked it twice. I was naughty, not nice. But anyway, mic check 1 2 1 2. Yeah, no, wasn't that Salt and Pepper? My mic sounds nice. Check 1. My mic sounds nice. Check 2. My mic sounds nice. Check 1. Are you ready? Now you see, that's from my mind. That just shows you I was a fan of hip hop, because there ain't no way that I had planned tonight. Oh, sometime tonight I'm gonna have a reason to bring up Salt and Pepper from the '80s. I wasn't trolling, Johnny. I apologize. I was sweating bullets before. I was fucking nervous. I'm like, oh my God, here goes the haters. And next week I'm gonna do my damnedest. In fact, I think I'm gonna make this challenge now to challenge myself. Every time I curse on next week's Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite, somebody out there is gonna win either a shirt or a video. And I'm sorry that it's people in the chat room, but every time I curse next week, if you write curse in the chat room, you're the first person that writes it, you'll get a shirt or a video. And I promise you, this ain't going to be like the Nick Aldis, Marty Scurll storyline where, if he loses, he's got to give everybody their money back. Yeah, that's going to happen. I'm going to do my damnness not to curse once next week. If you notice the beginning of the intro tonight, I actually added the censor to where I, said the F word, because I really wanted to do a show tonight free of any vulgar language. It's a couple of reasons why, obviously, but I failed tonight. But next week, if you're going to tune in live, just keep the word curse in your chat, or have it copied with your mouse. And if I curse, you better right-click that son of a bitch and hit enter, because I swear, if I curse 50 times next week, I will give away 50 prizes. And trust me, I love giving away gifts, but I'm also doing this because, I got bills and responsibilities, so got to try to keep it down in the minimum. So anyway, I will announce the winner to the Patreon predictions contest tomorrow. I already have the early idea who won, and I will announce it officially tomorrow. So if anybody on Patreon, don't jump the gun and think that you won or you're lost yet. I narrowed it down to about 10 people who are all around the same score. I just want to double check everybody's entry, and I will announce it tomorrow on Patreon. And I'll also put up a poll tomorrow on Patreon to see which day this weekend you want Mish and I to do breakfast soup. We're either going to do it Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. Don't vote now, because, we're going to post it on Patreon instead. And by the way, shout out to Mish. Hope everything is going good on Philly. He's now an East Coast guy. He moved from Chicago to Philly. Shout out to Dells. By the way, he is the one that is helping me with all of the video clips you see on my YouTube. And he has an awesome YouTube channel as well, The Dells Show. DJ Dells, D-E-L-Z. All you got to do is go on my channel here, and you will see some of his clips up there. The Dells Show. It is far from just wrestling, sneaker reviews. Tons of wrestling stuff. Did an interview with Killer Cross, Taya Valkyrie, all recent. Great stuff out there. And last but not least, Nuclear Heat. Shaheen. I said it right. I'm so used to saying Shaheen. It's almost like Dominic Dijakovic. I now know it's Dijakovic, but Shaheen of Nuclear Heat. He is the one that does all my artwork. He is awesome, and I definitely plan on hanging out with all you motherfuckers in the next couple of weeks. We're talking about maybe going to GCW for those who live in the Northeast, and I will definitely be at AEW Dynamite in Newark. I already talked to a few people. I have someone hooking me up with either first or second row tickets. You might actually see yours truly on the camera side, front row. And I don't care. If some podcasts out there be like, oh, he looks like a mark. I'm there, and you're home tweet fucking. What does that guy say is the Simpsons guy to go? So anyway, everyone, have a great night. I'm rambling. I got to go. I got a lot of work to do still. And got to get myself some sleep as well. Thank you, as always, for the support. And please remember, if there's a couple of things that you don't like what I'm doing, or any suggestions, criticism, you can always post it. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I don't jump down anybody's throats. If you respectfully want to criticize something or want to give me any advice, it is welcomed, because these shows are for you. It's obviously, you know, for me as well. But, you know, everybody here is a team. You know, I don't say that to pander or to kiss ass. Anybody that's a long-time listener knows that what I say, I mean. And it's just awesome that you can now see the face and me behind the voice for all of these years. Blows me away how many of you have said over the last 2 weeks that your picture of me in your mind over the years, all the things you thought about me, is a complete opposite now because you realize this. You know, and, you know, unfortunately, it's the same thing for others in a negative way. But, you know, this is a different challenge. I needed to do something new and fun. And fun. This is hard work, but I am enjoying it. I love the grind, man. And I love to see a good finished product. And if all of you, you know, stick around and enjoy this and spread the word, it's the ultimate appreciation you could give me. So I am out of here, everyone. Have a great night. All the best as always. I'll catch you all again next week with your next edition of Wednesday Night Dynamite. Take care, everyone. Be well. Ciao.
Don-O-Mite.
It was fun to channel surf. It was kind of hard to do a little pocket pool after you hitting the last channel button 50 times for 2 hours plus.
Don-O-Mite.
And his whole idea of overanalyzing, oh, he's an alcoholic and he misplaced the belt. And how could you have someone champion like that? The fuck out of here.
Wednesday night.
Don-O-Mite, you can have fun. You really are.